Hey everyone, here we have an off-grid Black Mamba V2, which is about a $200 knife. And here we have a James brand Barnes, which is a $700 knife. Both are made of M390 steel. They both kind of have a similar shape, size, and form factor. You get the idea. And what we want to find out today is if you really need to spend $700 to get a premium knife, or if the James brand is ripping you off. I want to be very clear, like I have been in most of my knife reviews, that I am an amateur. I do not know the ins and outs of knives, but this is coming from the perspective of your typical EDC carrier and basically my hunt for the perfect pocket EDC knife. But in any event, if you want a more in-depth review on sharpening and, blades, steel types, and the pros and cons of Tonto versus drop point, then you might want to go elsewhere. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in. Black Mamba V2 from Off Grid Knives. First off, at first glance, both of these knives, in my opinion, are very similar. They are both within the 3-inch blade form factor. This one is Tonto, this one is a drop point. People have opinions on that, so I'm not going to get into that. But ideally, they are both stealth black. This one's a little shinier, this one's a little more matte in color. But most importantly, they are both M90 steel, M390 super steel. So the M390 super steel is admittedly pretty damn awesome. It just does keep its sharpness, and yeah, I don't know, I just really like the M390 steel, and I hope more knife manufacturers utilize it in some cheaper knives. But in any event, Off Grid is one of these handle lock knives. I know what the term is, I just can't think of it right now while recording, of course. Same thing though with the James brand knife. Opening them though is where these both they're both a little bit different. And I really have to say, I think I prefer the way that the off-brand knife does it. Off-brand has this, off-grid, Jesus, I am just on top of my game right now. Anyway, the off-grid knife has this little notch on it, or this little lever here, so to speak. And basically when you want to open it, you just quickly yank it out of your pocket and you hit that, boom, it opens right up. I happen to find opening it incredibly easy and intuitive. And then you just sort of push this out of the way, and then it also seconds as a little sort of thumbnail guard. I really like the design of that. I think that it's just clever, functional, and while it may make it I guess kind of thicker, although really not by much if at all, because it is a slightly smaller knife. But the point is while it does add this little notch, you absolutely never notice that in your pocket. The James brand, Barnes specifically, one complaint myself and other reviewers have had is that opening it is not always the quickest and easiest thing. The only real decent place to open it, because there's not really a lot of grip on the actual knife-like spine, but the only real place to really do it is with the little thumb ball here. And it just, for some reason, sometimes it's just a little, tough to open up, right? You just kind of gotta, I don't know, eventually sort of get used to it, but it's just not quite as fast or flexible as the off-grid knife. And then for that matter, when you close it, so you hit this, there is the chance, and more than likely, that this thing will then grind into your thumbnail, thus leaving you with a little scratch mark in your thumbnail, because the knife is just hitting it. There's some other things to be said about the off-grid knife too, by the way. By the way, if the theme of this is becoming unclear, I have to say that while I just have this, for some reason I really like this Barnes knife, and I can't quite put my finger on why, I actually do think that the off-grid is a better knife for 95% of people probably, and it's also, quarter of the price. But in any event, one nice thing about the off-grid knife is the little pocket clip. Not only is it a little bit thinner and smaller, but it is also shallower. So you see right here that there is, about a half an inch of where the Barnes is going to stick up out of your pocket versus, where the off-grid is. This is literally right at the tip of the knife, so it conceals a lot better. I do find the tapered, tie shape to be kind of ugly. I wish they just kept it like one, one straight non-boot cut looking piece, but they didn't, and that's okay. And ultimately, I don't think you can I mean, you can hit these little bolts to remove the clip, but ultimately, I don't know if like Off Grid is actually going to offer some kind of like straight, version of the pocket clip. The pocket clip on the Barnes is both thicker, gets in the way a little bit more, doesn't clip onto your pants quite as well, and again, as said, it's not as shallow. So that's another win for the Off Grid knife. The James brand does come with a little bit of paracord here, which for most people is probably kind of useless. I think it's kind of nice as sort of just a quick thing to be able to sort of pull out of your pocket, but ultimately you really don't need it. It's not something that I missed having on the Off Grid. In terms of sharpness on both knives, I mean, they're both just razor sharp. That M390 is good. Both of them were sharpened from factory to perfection. I mean, they just, they're great. I mean, there's really not much more that can be said about that. I like the branding a little bit better on the Off Grid knife as well. On the Off Grid, here's the logo, right? But then you recess that in, and there's no really branding to speak of, which I like, other than maybe that little thing. But on the James brand, James. And then you've got their little logo there on the pocket clip as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Even though the James brand knife is cleaner and a little more sleek and modern, this, again, this is just sort of less in your face, less assuming. You can move the pocket clip from this side to the other, give it a little bit of ambidextrousness. I don't believe that the James brand is capable of doing that, so that's, that's pretty cool. The pocket clip can be removed in the James brand, by the way. There is, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there is a little screw in there that can allow it to be removed. So that's kind of nice. But in any event, yeah, both razor sharp. In terms of weight and stuff, the James brand is a little bit heavier than the Off Grid. I actually genuinely believe that the Off Grid would probably stand up to abuse more than the James. The bearings, I don't know if you can hear that. I'm going to try to put it up to the mic. You can hear the bearings kind of touching each other in the James brand, whereas in this, it's just a lot quieter and just seems to be a little bit smoother. You also don't have a back on this one, so like basically like whereas on the James brand, like dirt and muck and gunk can get kind of caught on the inside here, and you're going to need like a Q-tip to get in there and kind of clean it out. You obviously never need to worry about that on the Off Grid knife. So yeah, so I mean, there's frankly a lot to be said about the Off Grid knife when you compare it to the James brand, and I think in a lot of ways some people will find themselves with a little more comfortable on the Off Grid than they will on the James brand. And let's again not forget that the Off Grid is a hell of a lot more affordable. The glossier finish on the Off Grid knife I feel will hold up better as well than on the James brand. The James brand starts to patina even in your pocket with minimal use almost instantly. And I just don't feel like this black coating is gonna like hold up that well over time. So why do I like the James brand Barnes? I don't frickin' know, actually. It's made by Rayot, and if it is a quality knife in the sense that it's heavy, feels good, it's premium, good steel. Something about the looks and the sleekness I just really, really like, and in that regard, I do like it better than the Off Grid knife. But I mean, again, if you're looking for an EDC, easy to use, knife, frankly, you probably could look no further than the Black Mamba version 2 from Off Grid. So easier opening, mechanism, the little lever action there, really like that. Kanto style, I'm not gonna, actually, that's not a pro, again, that's an opinion. Slightly better bearings, in my opinion. Do the little drop test here. Just feel like it's a little bit easier on the Off Grid. Ambidextrousness, that's a pro. Pocket clip, that's a pro, other than its tapering being a little bit ugly. And it's M390 with a durable coating and an empty back, which helps you save on dirt and weight. So yeah, pro. What is the James brand Barnes better at? Well, it's a little bigger, a little sleeker, a little more modern. That's about it, if we're being honest. There's nothing wrong with the Barnes. I know a lot of people give it crap because of the price, and rightfully so, they should. James Brand should be ashamed of themselves. But it is a good quality knife, and again, it is made by Rayot, so that's nice. But if you're in the market for the, a good quality EDC, you will do really well with the Black Mamba V2 from Off-Grid. So anyway, there you go. Hope this video was helpful for people in the market for a new EDC M390 knife. Again, it's amateur, but hey, I feel like I made some good points. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the comments section, and we will be back with another video really soon.